While the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X might not be the latest or greatest chip from AMD, it showcases the strengths of the AM4 platform wonderfully. It's much cheaper than the newest generation of Intel and AMD chips, and it offers 8 cores, 16 threads, and a 4.7 GHz boost clock. The CPU is great for both productivity and gaming, and is a great centerpiece for your next rig due to its cheap price. In this video, I'll be putting this processor to good use, building a value-oriented build that focuses on performance while keeping the cost reasonable. This build has a good mix of components that maximize performance for high refresh rate 1440p gaming. You can check out all PC parts and prices in the description. So let's get started. Let's start first with the best value build. With high-end graphics card prices being sky-high, value-focused gaming is more relevant than ever before. This is why the 5800X is a solid choice for anyone looking to build a high-performance, yet cost-effective PC. Since it's on the AM4 platform, you miss out on DDR5 but retain compatibility with the best graphics card and fast PCIe Gen 4 SSDs. It will also be cheaper than a comparable AM5 PC. The 5800X is an all-rounder for gaming, content creation, and general productivity, which makes it a strong foundation for this build. Of course, it needs a good motherboard to bring out its best, which is why I recommend the Asus TUF Gaming B550 Plus Wi-Fi 2. This board has everything most people will want out of the B550 chipset. It has dual M2 slots, one of which supports PCIe 4.0, a robust 10-phase VRM configuration, a fanless heatsink, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, and USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C and Type-A ports. Design-wise, it's very stealthy, with a plain black PCB and matte black heatsinks. There is some TUF Gaming branding on the I/O cover and chipset heatsink, along with some subtle RGB along the bottom right edge. Because of the great design and overall functionality, I found it ideal for this build, as it covers all of the essentials without pushing up the cost unnecessarily. For memory, I went with the Corsair Vengeance LPX 32GB DDR4 3600 kit. Given the Ryzen 7's capabilities, 3600 megatransfers per second RAM complements it perfectly, allowing it to reach peak performance in most tasks. The 32GB capacity is also optimal for gaming and multitasking, ensuring smooth operation for years to come. I prefer this non-RGB version for those who like a clean, subtle look without sacrificing any performance. Of course, if you want to save even more money, you could go with a 16GB kit. You might even find one that has RGB for a cheaper price. However, I recommend the 32GB kit if you plan on doing anything productive and require extra memory as a result. In the storage department, the Samsung 980 Pro 1TB NVMe SSD is an easy choice. Its PCIe 4.0 speed aligns well with the motherboard and CPU, delivering blazing fast load times for games and applications. I appreciate the reliability Samsung brings with their SSDs, and this drive's 1TB capacity gives just enough space for a range of games, large applications, and an OS without any worry about storage bottlenecks. To keep the 5800X cool, I opted for the Cooler Master Master Liquid 360L Core A-RGB CPU cooler. This one has a 360mm radiator, some subtle RGB on the pump cover, single flow 120mm RGB fans, and quiet operation. It even includes Cooler Master's excellent CryoFuse thermal paste, which will come in handy if you ever disassemble your rig or want to replace the thermal compound for your CPU or GPU. When it comes to graphics cards, NVIDIA has unnecessarily complicated the 40 series lineup. You have the RTX 4070, the 4070 Super, the 4070 Ti, and the 4070 Ti Super. Two of those cards are mid-range, and the Ti versions are on the higher end. For this particular build, I went with the RTX 4070 Super. In pure rasterization performance, without ray tracing or DLSS upscaling, the 4070 Super is noticeably faster than the RTX 3080, and the gap increases further once you factor in DLSS frame generation and the ray tracing performance. It also has 12GB of VRAM, 2 gigs more than the RTX 3080. This all translates to a fantastic 1440p gaming experience. In most titles, you'll be achieving high refresh rates without any problems. Ultimately, that's why I chose this graphics card. It's the best performer in its price range, beating the standard RTX 4070 and the AMD Radeon RX 7800 XT. Surprisingly, it even comes close to the 4070 Ti in some cases, a GPU that's around 20% more expensive. As for the variant, I chose the Gigabyte WINDFORCE OC edition. It's one of the cheaper 4070 variants, has a robust triple-fan cooling system, and has a stealthy black design. You can definitely find flashier options with RGB, but we're focusing on performance here. To power all these incredible components, I chose the Corsair RM750E. It's a fully modular 80-plus gold-certified PSU with an output of 700 watts. I appreciate the fully modular design as it makes cable management a breeze and keeps the build looking clean. Corsair's reputation for reliable power supplies is another plus. I also recommend this because of the quiet operation, the efficiency, and the high-quality capacitors used inside. Finally, all these components are housed in the Corsair 3000D Airflow ATX mid-tower case. I chose this case because it's specifically designed for efficient airflow, with a front mesh panel that promotes excellent cooling. The minimalist design suits any setup, and its spacious interior allows for easy cable management and future expansion. Overall, this build is a fantastic representation of power and value. It's a 1440p gaming powerhouse and can easily handle just about any game you throw at it. This particular configuration will cost you $1,300, and you're getting fantastic performance for every dollar spent. You can check the prices for each component in the description.